ready to attack. Fire. Okay, just gonna finish UV mapping this shoe. Oh, I'm so full. Um, hmm. I like how it looks on this side. It's really messy right here, though. It might just be this, though. Let's do. That helped. Okay. So looking at it from the side, this here, I think we should go ahead and take these ones and move them out of the way. Scooch this one over, distribute these, and then distribute these ones. All right. Not bad, not bad. One more time. Yeah. Because with this one, I can take these points and scooch them over. Oh, thank you, Ray. Hello, welcome. How's it going? I'm a little late coming back, but that's how it goes, some lunches. It's going, we'll get it. Working on anything right now? This part's a little tough because it gets squashed. Hello, Kai. Welcome. I sure am working on stuff this day of days. Well, welcome, Kai. Hope you're doing well. Don't remember if I got a chance to say hi earlier before you hopped off. I can't remember either, but I certainly appreciate you saying it. But welcome, Kai. What are you working on? Work or a personal project? Work. Both. Okay, well, heck yeah. Working on personal stuff at work. I like it. Efficient. Reminds me of my hotel days. Slowing out. That's well, good. Hopefully that gives you a decent amount of time to work. That all looks pretty good, but it definitely is still getting super squashed right in here. Super squashed. Yeah, I think we should straighten out this whole segment, probably starting right here. Hello, Popstar. Welcome. Welcome. Well, I want to play video games when home instead of outfit creation. Understandable. And hello, Enzo. Stan Canelli, welcome back. Now they're creating avatars, VRChat create the Godzilla Ultimate with expression of roars and atomic breath. You're always welcome to commission me, Enzo. I'd be happy to do that for the money. Yes, hit me with that question. When people distribute clothing, do they build it around the avatar, then export only the clothing and affected armature? Usually. Oh, sorry, my camera's out. Unless you're working and collaborating directly. So there's a few ways you can do it. Some artists let you purchase a license. So you'll go to their Gumroad and they'll have a specific option for other creators where you can purchase that one. And then anytime you sell clothing for that avatar, you can include the original files. So some people have an agreement like that set up. Other times you would just, if you didn't want to work that way, then you would probably just sell the clothing by itself. And then any other way you've seen it done, Kai? I feel like you may have more experience with it than me. I usually don't sell clothing by itself. Hello again, Snardom. Welcome. Welcome back. What I've gotten before, like it was a shirt, would be the shirt and like spine, shoulder, breastbones that I have to copy to the avatar armature. I think that usually is what would happen, or you just need to. A lot of times they're including only what's essential for the clothing, because you don't necessarily need a full armature. They're only going to give you what you need. Yeah, there's a few different ways it's done, and there's not really a perfect way, unfortunately. As long as you're not selling with the original mesh, you're fine to sell clothing with bones with the same weight systems. Welcome back, Arisa, and can credit the creator. Was stealing your cookies while you're not watching. How dare you? How dare you? Man, I wish I had cookies. Actually, I do have cookies. I actually do have cookies. Maybe I'll go get some in a second. Camera has a blur node applied. Yeah, I don't know why, but every time I restart OBS, it resets my my settings here. It always turns on the auto zoom. Don't need that. Don't need that. I wonder if I'd be allowed to sell the swimsuit I made for my avatar. I mean, if it's your if it's for a base, Usually there's not a problem, again, as long as you're crediting the creator, and you're not just like Kai is saying there. No original files, just the swimsuit, and credit the creator. But it's a win-win for the creator most of the time, unless they're very particular. But like, the creator can't create a bunch of clothing for the avatar without investing time. So it does create kind of like a little economy around certain avatars, especially if like a certain base gets super popular. I mean, there's tons of like e-girl, e-guy bases, and those have a lot of clothing that's built for those kinds of. I don't remember their names, but a lot of clothing built with those avatars in mind, because it's popular, and it stays popular because now it has a lot of options. So I certainly don't think the creator is going to mind. It keeps their work relevant. I would be very surprised if they just told you to stop. But you can always ask them directly too. Got the same mesh. I copied the mesh on the base and enlarged it slightly to make the suit. I would say that's different. Because you're not selling the full body, and it is a lot of times it is important to have the clothing topology be as similar to the body topology, so prevents clipping. All right, I think those are good enough. Okay, so there's those. Now the whole shoe. What haven't we done? This thing. There we go. And lastly, what is this? What is this object here? Ah, that makes sense. But now I can show off why I made the topology this way, because now all I need to do is run one cut along the whole mesh. That's a little odd though. Maybe I'll combine these ones right here. Yeah. I guess I could do a triangulation. So I do like that it's beveled. Why don't I just put one slice here and here? There we go. Now all I need to do is run one cut along the whole mesh. Sam suddenly becomes a surgeon. I mean, they do call it skinning for a reason. It's very similar to going, hey, I have a deer and I need to make moccasins. I wasn't thinking that dark. But honestly, it is kind of funny, just the, you know, like all the different weird phrases that come out of this kind of work. Where, like, I remember a while back, I needed to get a bunch of teeth, and it was like my teeth collection, and it's just it's kind of weird and morbid to talk about it that way, but also hilarious. Interesting though, this one's got a lot more topology. How is this working? I'm just lining up the vertices on both sides in order to prevent any seam slippage. Let me take you through my asset collection. Let's start with the fingers. Neatly organized. You know, I'm efficient. Efficient cuts. Okay, then we'll put the cursor over here. And over here, so I can do this one. Okay, now everything lines up. Look at that. Look how perfect that is. Yay. It looks good. And we'll call this Miles Cyberpunk. Still a ton of stretching right here, though. I might need to remove this whole front island. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. I'm gonna run some cuts right here. We'll need to do another one here too. Hard to believe it's already Wednesday. This week is just racing away. There we go. And still a ton of stretching there. But we can probably make it a lot better now. Yeah, for the most part. Interesting. I was hoping that'd be a little bit nicer. Oh, at least it's just in here. This will be covered up by the laces. So I think we'll be okay there. Okay there. Hmm. Okay. Everything's been unwrapped. We do need to adjust the size. And we'll worry about putting it all together on one map a little bit later. For now, let's turn our attention to the next object we need to make, which is the jacket. Make a new collection. And this is going to be based off of Cyberpunk jacket. Cyberpunk. There's Cyberpunk jacket. Specifically, I guess are basing it off of David's from that show, from the anime. Okay. Here's the ref for the jacket. Funny because the symbol looks really in a different spot on this picture, but it is in the same spot. So it just looks very different on that one. I don't know why. All right. Turn on the boy. at 0. Slap on a mirror mod. And a subdivision surface. Mesh them both after we get this set up properly. A little bit of crease here. And yeah, mesh them. Delete this half again. Okay. Put the cursor here. I'm going to rotate this whole tube. And we'll shrink it down. Actually, before we shrink it, let's do this. And that, and then rotate it. Something like that. Make this look way too easy, Sam. I appreciate that. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes not so much. To be fair, I have a system. Oh. Thank you. Cherries. I'm gonna get a cup. I'll be back. This workflow is very similar to mine, but I need to learn how to use multi-res to add cloth fold and details. I did move it. I'm hoping to add some stuff back here so I can make like my streamer backdrop. I don't know. Yeah, we'll add more and more to the wall as time goes on. Kind of build it up, make it look more professional. As professional as I can be. Yeah, for my modeling techniques, the most fundamental part of it is I just am doing everything in my power to make sure I'm using boxes. That all my topology is boxes. Because if you know, like this is why people emphasize working with quads so much. Quads are really easy to work with, and in order to make it easy to unwrap, you want to make sure that on a fundamental level everything is a box, because those are the simplest shapes to unwrap. Grandian, rah! Well, welcome, hello. What makes it round and smooth? That is the subdivision modifier. So I have a mirror mod on, which is just duplicating 1/2 to the other side. And then the subdivision modifier tessellates it. It makes additional geometry. How are you doing? I'm doing quite well. Thank you for asking. I hope you're doing well. You sound like you have a lot of energy. Oh, quite the zoom there. Jump scare. Also have a bowl full of cherries, so I'm really enjoying myself right now. I want to see how we're going to make this piping. Probably going to use a geonodes for that. Could be a texture too. Who knows? All right. So first things first. Let's just get the basic shapes in. Need to bring the boy back so I can see where I'm putting stuff. And we want a sharper shoulder. And now we'll relax it. At least just this portion. Right about here. Now the jacket goes down to the hips. So I want that. Oops. For the collar. Go ahead and extrude out this chunk. Once we have all the basic shapes in, we'll open up the sculpting, but I just want to get the simplest, largest form I can block down. And it does start opening up kind of low on the chest right here. Yeah, I think we will shoot for that. And just hit it with relax and space. I actually could take this spot and extrude it out a little and fill that in. And that way we get a collar along the whole length, which actually I think will work out a little bit better. Do I have the jacket drape across the tail? The tail will always be there, so probably important to have it incorporated into the outfit. May need to go back and adjust some of my other outfits to do that as well. All right. Love cherries. Oh my God. It's so good. All right, let's do some sculpting. So what we'll do is apply the mirror, get rid of the subdivision, and instead replace that with a multi-res. Multi-res, again, just lets us sculpt. So it does a little bit more than that. It lets us adjust, work like we have a low poly object, but also sculpt in the high poly details. I think for a lot of these layers, the jacket we're looking at right now probably won't even exist at the end, but it is going to give us a surface to start adding all these other elements. Yeah. Yeah. Now, another question about the jacket though is, does it come up to a point? Yeah, that's a point, right? Boom, boom. Okay. So we do actually need to change this a little bit more right here. So this should come out to a point. I'm gonna rip this. I'm actually gonna get rid of the multi-res. I'm gonna rip this. I'm gonna cut here, fill this in. Get one more spot right here. Feels a little bit more even that way. I don't know why it's doing that though. Do I have two? I don't have a modifier on this right now. Ah, because I hid that. All right, mirror again. Apply the mirror. Add that multi-res. Ah, I should have done one more cut here, just that way. When I unsubdivide it, I can go further down. And multi-res. Subdivide. All right. Good stuff. Now we can sculpt. Want to cut here, here, and here. So I can take the sleeve ends and shrink them. So with the multi-res, you still can edit the low poly for a while, but after a certain amount of subdivisions, it is going to start doing some weird stuff. Weird stuff. So just keep that in mind. Basically, it doesn't really do a good job of putting in the new geometry you make. So you just have to be quite careful that you understand how it's going to move your stuff. Proceeds to clip into the fourth dimension. Usually you can fix it pretty well, but if you're not used to it, then you may think your mesh is broken. But it can force you to do a decent amount of work, so just be careful about how much you add after a certain point, or only work. What would be the right way to say that? Only start adding stuff on lower levels of subdivision, and then only go into sculpting once you're confident with what you have. The sleeves are higher. If you're doing low clothing, for example, like skirts, for example, is there a way to keep the legs from clipping through when the avatar walks? That is a very tough problem. One that takes some experience to get used to. Generally, I mean, not to be crass, but if you make a short enough skirt, it's not an issue. So it depends on the type of outfit you're making, or your avatar is wearing. Dresses are harder. The further down the leg you have loose fabric, the more you can stretch that piece of fabric apart, and the weirder it's going to look. Like, I don't know if you ever played Morrowind. I think any of the Oblivion and stuff. Like, a lot of times the robes and stuff, dresses on the legs would stretch really far, and that's because what they're doing is just they're attaching it directly to the legs. Using things like dynamic bones or fizz bones, you'll probably need to use constraints as well in order to prevent them from clipping. Because you can put colliders on the legs, and those can interact with the fizz bones, but the fizz bones can only use capsule colliders, so they don't quite interact in the way that you may expect in the shape of cloth or skirt or something. Anyway, definitely possible. There are a lot of characters with skirts that you'll see, but generally with with any sort of fizz bone or fabric, any sort of cloth that's meant to have dynamic movement, you should expect some clipping. You can very rarely can you get perfect zero clipping. Because a lot of times people are going to just the put that the movement of the human body they can do a lot of different things. So many times they're going to be able to put the avatar into poses that you just can't avoid. They're there to be clipping. You can get good. You can make it so that 90% of the time there's no clipping, but 100% of the time that would require actual physics, like as an actual cloth simulation in real time. We're still quite a ways away from that, unfortunately. Why don't we try doing the sim base? I'm going to turn off OG. Turn on sim. Not make it for VR so people can't move in weird poses. Make it for games or renders. Cheat so there is no clipping. Ooh. Dense geometry. But I don't need all of it. I just need... My main interest is VRChat, unfortunately. It's just a different challenge. Just a different type of challenge. Real-time applications like video games have different issues than things like movies or... and even in that space, video games have tons of different different styles and stuff. So I think you'll be fine. Like I wouldn't view it as a big issue because generally most, like if you go through a VRChat lobby, even the people with really nice avatars or paid avatars and stuff, if you're looking closely, almost all of them have some issue. There's never really an end to working on 3D avatars. You can get rid of like 99% of problems, but there will always be some corner cases for issues or weirdness. It's just kind of the nature of the work. Work's never done. Simple fix. Use your avatar now. Sit still. Oh, hello, Pixie. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Why is it so dense? For pants, I noticed the author of my avatar makes the circumference of legs shrink way down when the pants are toggled on. That's with the blend shape. Or I guess in Blender they're called shape keys. In Unity they're called blend shapes, but they're the same thing. They're a alteration of a mesh you can turn on and off or slide between. There are a few other ways to hide portions of the body, but generally blend shapes or using a shader are the main ways. Me confusing them with keyframes. Silly young me. You do a mask. Now there's a the shader. You can do UV discards through the Poyomi shader. You can do transparency masks. You can do shape keys, or you can make the piece of mesh you want to turn off a separate object and turn that object off. The only one that's foolproof is the separate object, because even with shape keys, sometimes it can still poke through, even if you make it as thin as possible. That mesh can still come through sometimes, especially on fizz bones. Anyway, yeah, it is interesting because no matter which direction you go, there are trade-offs. But it's got to get used to iterating. Iterating. Oh, that looks good already. Still bunching up a little bit too much here. What about the mask? Depends on what you mean by mask. UV discard can be considered a mask. If you're doing a clip, like a transparency mask, it's still, those two things still rely on the shader. And sometimes, either through settings or if the shader doesn't load, then you'll see everything on at once. Only turning the object off itself will prevent that issue. Since people usually talk about polygons, tries, quads, here's something else. Shape keys can be quite expensive data-wise. I sometimes see people go overboard with them. I've moved away from them. I prefer using bones now. Feeling lazy, I think I'm going to tell my client I'll deliver the update tomorrow. Hey, don't burn yourself out. Definitely take some time to rest if you're feeling burnt out. It's important. It is important. Maybe a little too much like silk or something. So let's switch it to rubber. Because the folds are too large. I wonder how they do that. They basically make it feel very puffy at the same time. I guess that'd just be pressure, right? But with an open mesh, that does not work. All right, well, let's try some. Let's get rid of the sculpt or the clothing modifier. Just do some sculpting instead. All right. Let's try some other stuff. So if I go in here and we select, let's say this one, we go to face sets from edit mode selection. We do something like the cloth brush tool. I can make it auto mask on face sets. And then we could use something like inflate and deflate this, but if we use a mesh filter, maybe I need to make this bigger. It kind of works in a way. Probably be better to go the other way. That worked nicely. Okay, so let's do this. Face sets from edit mode selection. A little goofy, a little Michelin Man kind of vibe right now. It's kind of good. Maybe not play, but push. Ooh, that's nice. Cool. I think that's working a little bit better than I thought. Oh. You just gotta shake it. Interesting. So much to learn with this tool. Better use cloth simulations or just sculpt the folds yourself. I'll still go in and do some of my own sculpting. It just depends on the kind of look you're going for. I'm really trying to find things that can add a bit more realism, or I don't want to say free, but in a way that I can just do really quickly. There's no right way. What I would say is that in the standard AAA workflow for video games, they're using things called Marvelous. They're using software like Marvelous Designer, and they are simulating their cloth as they make it. I mean, you can tell too, because if you look at the wrinkles on this jacket too, it's like maybe you could sculpt that, but if you know what you're doing, you can just simulate that. Like, I don't think that this is sculpted, especially because the way the fabric bunches around where the silver piece grabs. This right here, that might be a texture. But these spots right here, this whole shoulder area, that looks simulated to me. Right here. And especially in these sleeves right there. Like, depends on what you consider sculpting too. Like, simulation is an art form too. So, definitely an art form. It's hard to just, you're right, just buy MD or get Divine Cloth add-on. I think I have that actually. I think I do. I'll mess around with it some other time, but something like that. Hello. They've been applying real-time cloth simulation as the character moves and wrinkles react. Don't know if Capcom has applied that in Street Fighter 6. Cloth on the knees, armpit, and crotch area reacts to movement. Unreal Engine's doing a lot of work there as well. Hello, Ratans. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, cloth is just one of those areas where there's just a lot of things where you can make things look really good in a video game, but it is just not real life. Like it is just an illusion compared to what real life can do. I mean, maybe that sounds pretty obvious out loud, but I think like a lot of times how people think of video games, it's like, oh, you can just do this. Like, well, actually, there's no simulation. There's no reality under the hood. It's just all fake. Been a while. It has been. Hope you've been doing well. Do you know how to fix Unity warning that the one of the avatar boundaries is over the limit? You need to look at your skin mesh renderers and double check your bounds. So on the skin mesh renderer component, there will be a bounds option, and that will usually point you the right direction. We are going to jump back to some actual sculpting now. We got a good little base to get some kind of detail wrinkles in there. I'm going to go in and accentuate what's working and what's not. So that looks good. That looks good. Nope. Nope. All right, back. I need to put these cherries away. All right, I'm back. I like to bulk up this back area a little bit more. Make it feel a little bit thicker. There's gonna be some pockets there too. Looks good though. Okay, so now we need to start thinking about how we can make some of these other segments. We have this like tubing or piping, which some on the bottom and there's some up top. I don't think they connect though. I need another image. They come out of the back of this thing here. Then they go under the arm. So either they go under the arm and stop, or they go under the arm and then there's a stripe coming down. Maybe into the pocket. I do see a little bit of gray right there. Let's look up some more images, see if I'm missing. So. I don't see it coming down though, so. Yeah, it just stops. Okay. Interesting. All right. Well, some of these jackets are slightly different. Some of them have like a quilted pattern and others don't. Not sure what to make of that. Okay. So what we'll do, start making some of these pieces. So we'll start with the start with the piping on the bottom. Turn on retopo. So this piping starts here. And we'll actually give it a mirror mod. Goes down. Over. This. All right, we'll do that. Oh, why? Why, oh, why? Cool. I just do one cut, and when we subdivide, that will give me. Actually, no, twice, then we'll get 4. So here we go. We'll say start, assign, and end, assign. Then we will get a subdivision surface, which we will shrink wrap to the jacket, just slightly above. My viewport should have random. Why is it stuck on this? It should be random. I don't know. That's okay. All right. Now that we've done that, we can go ahead and go over to GeoNodes, find our object, do new. We'll call this jacket piping. You know what? We actually won't do it on it though. New object. All new. CJ GeoNodes. And in here we'll make the cube piping. In here, get rid of this. Object info. And we'll sample the piping over. Okay. Cool. Then we'll split it and extrude. But we want to split it based off our edge path. There we go. So now we can take the original, turn that subdiv one more time, and now we have our piping. Easy peasy. A little rough, a little rough. I think if we You can actually capture the attribute. Make Boolean. The other side. Capture attribute. This selection based on edges. Then we can scale the elements. It should work. Interesting. Not quite what I thought. Ah, interesting. Actually, maybe it would work. Go to the mirror on this side. If we're going to do that, we may as well just still mirror it, but afterwards, and without merging it. And then we can do, then we get the same thing. Okay. Sam, have you ever used the player tracker asset? Player tracker, I have not. Oh, to like lock an object to another player? I've toyed with it. Or I'm sorry, I've toyed with the idea of using it, but I frankly just suffer using VRChat's avatar dynamic system. It is really awful. Not to be pessimistic, it's just it is not built to actually do the things people do with them. So and just for that reason alone, I have not touched it. Because I just feel like I would probably go a little bit insane on the inside. I like the hats in some worlds or colors. So for the player tracker, it would be built on the avatar dynamics. So that's per avatar. So like if I had a character that had a little fairy and I wanted it to follow someone else, you would need to use that player tracker asset. Because there's no other, there's not really a built-in way to track what other players are doing through just the player animator logic. It's amazing that people can, because genuinely it is quite literally not built for that. Not an exaggeration to say that. It is not built with that in mind. Read what I said. For example, my avatar is scarf. I want to make a functionality that allows me to take off my avatar and put on someone else's. I think that'd be very cute. That would be cute. What about in Resonite? In Resonite, there are very few limitations, but you are kind of given because you're given the full freedom to make whatever you want, there's a lot more complexity. Yeah, but you can really, truly make whatever you want. In a true, like, genuinely, you can make whatever the fuck you want, which is why I'm so enthralled by the idea of playing around with it. So I'm hoping to get back to it eventually, but yeah, it excites me. It's what I want. And if you once you try it, you'll go, oh, this is what VR should feel like. Should feel like you can do anything. At least in my opinion. It's what it should be like. I do believe that whether or not Resonite is the what Resonite's doing is what the actually successful, like, what's the way to put that? Whatever ends up being the VR platform will look something like what Resonite looks like right now. Credit some, didn't know what I was doing, and the performance was not great. Yeah, I don't think they should start people off in that default world that they have, because it is pretty slow for most people. I think there's a Resonite is what's the phrase? VR like a power user. The phrase I hear a lot. Like, it is built for PC, with PC players in mind, for sure. Sorry, not just PC players. PC players that have really good computers. But again, a lot of freedom. Agreed, hopefully with some more FPS soon, and I welcome anything VR, but it needs to offer me more than just a chat room. Exactly. But if you ever play it, I won't be adverse to hopping on. My hope is to get more and more larger events in Resonite, because I really want to do Dungeons and Dragons in VR. And I think that Resonite will be the kind of premium, the best way to make that happen. It'll take some time, though. I have to get some of my own money-making projects off the ground. Hopefully they'll be one and the same after a while, because I think making products for D&D and Resonite will be a good combo. You know, I was thinking that VRChat should rework their whole avatar system and make a blueprint-based system. Genuinely, if they're not looking at Resonite going, hey, we should really adopt some of these, it is just how it should work. And I'm actually, if I'm being very cynical, I personally don't have much faith in the direction that VRChat is heading, because they've, I mean, they just fired a bunch of their staff. They've had over 10 years now to make some sort of marketplace. They have yet to do that. And you know, Resonite had some issues when it was Neos, but they did try to make a marketplace right away. Although it was an NFT marketplace, so it's a little cringe. Little cringe there. And they dropped that. Like they were actually trying things. I personally don't think there's some bad leadership decisions happening at VRChat. No NFTs, please. Yeah, that's why Resonite's so exciting, because they dropped all the NFT stuff completely and went off to make Resonite. It's very good. It was a very good sign in my book. All right, jacket's looking pretty dope. I'm going to apply the multi-res. Actually, no, I take that back. I will just copy this right here. Boom, separate it, take it, remove the multi-res, remove the solidify, and just add a normal surface, which we will then shrink wrap to the jacket. I guess I should apply the shrink wrap now. All right. Can you do a bevel? We'll see. We'll see how this goes. I love VRChat a lot, but I don't know if anyone has anyone here used their in-game currency ever, or do you even know anyone who has? Like, that is such a bad sign as a company. Like, they spent years and years working on a system. They made something literally no one in their community uses. The idea is good, but 50% profit for creators? Exactly. And it's like, if they're just going to let other companies be the marketplace, then they just have to say that out loud. Like, hey, we give up. Booth is the actual marketplace. Hello, Ritz Sell Loser. Welcome. Ritz for Sell Loser. Welcome, Ritz. Hello. Do you think you can make a chibi avatar? I can make whatever avatar you like. And if you're interested in commissioning me, definitely let me know. But the add cuts to this manually. I don't know how else to do that. Then we'll go in and make a... Right now I'm making clothes for a avatar, making clothes based on a cyberpunk for an avatar I made for a client about 2 years ago. Kind of an older avatar. I mean, I wouldn't say older, just that this is an avatar I made a while back, but we're making clothes from now. You already had this like kind of Greek god theme. But now we're going back and adding some other clothes. Some short shorts, this tank top. We have some cool shoes that we're adding. That's the retail. Let me put the actual shoe on. Boom. Shoe. So yeah, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be very good. Quite excited. So a lot of work right now. Probably be, that's cool. Thank you, Ritz. I appreciate that. Probably be done with this avatar sometime, or the clothing for this avatar sometime next week. Hey, Ritz, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the community. If you like VRChat avatars, that is what I'm making all the time. It's what I'm making. That's usually what I'm doing here. My eyeball. We got about another 30 minutes in the stream, and then we'll be calling it for today. I got some plans this evening. Also, I do have to say a quick shout out, our self promotion here. I am opening up classes for anyone interested in learning how to make avatars. So if you do want to learn how to make avatars, I have a link for you to check out. I do have to do a little bit of promotion here because got to get some more students. And if anyone is knows anyone that might be interested in joining the class, please send them my way. I would really appreciate that. Na, 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 na. Let's even out the back of the jacket here. Excuse me. How much is it? It's about $150 for the whole course. So that's 6 classes taught over 3 weeks. Yeah. Bit of a time commitment, but that's just kind of how classes go. It's already on. Really want to make this metal edge here. So to do that, I'm going to take the whole jacket, duplicate it, get rid of the multi-res, take it, and I'm going to indent the whole jacket, the whole enchilada, and then delete these faces. Just have this. Then we will add a subdivision above the solidify and a shrink wrap above that. Snap it to the jacket. Say above surface. Or that's fine. We also have this strip right here in the middle. On the jacket itself, I'm going to take this section, go to sculpt mode, base sets from edit mode selection. Then we will hide everything else but this and smooth the heck out of it. I want it to be basically almost wrinkle free. Then I will also do a mesh filter to inflate it inwards. Just a little. All right, that looks pretty good. Now we'll duplicate it, separate it, take it, remove the multi-res, you know the drill, add a subdivision surface, snap it to the jacket, make sure it's above the surface. Make sure the shrink wrap or the solidify is going the right way too. That will help how it looks. That looks so funny. That's it. That's looking pretty darn good. Pretty darn good. A few other things that I see. We've got this little decal here. Pockets, and then the man, what are those called? Cuffs. So start the cuffs. Let's duplicate this one, separate it, get rid of the multi-res, add that subdivision surface. Make it a little bit thicker. In fact, on the jacket itself, I'm just going to delete these. It'll be a separate object. Then what we'll do is take this. It looks like the cuff comes together on the back over here. So we'll take these, we'll duplicate them, and move them back just a little. Then we'll take this section, rip it, take these two, bridge them. Oh, I had a shift tab on. Bridge. Ah, false. Very close to what I want, but I broke it. Bring that in. Bring this out. Cool. All right, now we got a nice little cuff. Dang, that does look really good. I don't say so myself. You turn it down one, duplicate, move this one above the shrink wrap, right about there. All right, now it's nice and smooth. Looking good. Looking good. I'm gonna move the solidify the other direction, inwards a bit, just so it goes under that. Yeah, that looks a lot better. There, my first actual day off, spam the art, share my pixel results. Let's take a look. Pixel results. Very cool. Is this going to be for like a fighting game? So sometimes I want to draw my pixels instead, but this is all 3D, of course. I feel like I don't have enough control. What with drawing? Same. Especially if you, anytime I think about, oh, I have to animate something, it's like, do I really want to draw something brand new every time with pixels in 3D? It's already on. Woo, 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 woo. Hello, Nammers. Welcome. The animations are better in 3D, yes, 100%. 100%. I actually, like, back when I was getting into college and stuff, I initially wanted to get into animation. And then I took one animation course, and I'm like, I do not want to draw this much. I don't want to draw this many images for one project. I was like, that's nuts. It's nuts. Mad respect to those who do it. It's relatable. It's too much. It's too much. Like, it is actually an insane amount of work. Copy some of these wrinkles. Again, I really need to figure out how to do this in simulation. I may buy Marvelous Designer. I may do it. I'll at least get the demo sometime and fart around with it. I tried it but didn't like it. Same. I did try it a long time ago. And I was like, this feels bad. But now that I know what I'm looking for, I'm hoping that will be lessened. But you never know. Could be the exact same feeling. Uh, a bot. A bot. There's a bot in my chat. Be gone, bot. Oh. Get the gun. All right, what I really want to figure out is how I can get these nice edges on these things. So I think I'm going to use geometry nodes for it. What I'm going to do is mark these edges. So I'll make a new group. We'll call this edge. Make a new geo. Actually, no, we'll not make a new geo here. Make a new geo here. We'll call this edge bevel. Sure. Sure. And we'll get rid of the geometry input. Add in an object info. This. We can then sample this here, which we'll call, I don't know, silver. These silver segments. Then we just output it, we get the same thing. What I'd like to do is delete the geometry if they are the named attribute edge. And we want to compare on a float range like this. That way we can do that. And then we can extrude. Voila. After trying to make clothes yesterday, it made me realize I really have no idea how to make clothes that aren't skin tight on the mouth. Mesh data transfer was not doing what I thought it would. A lot of times, like if I was rigging this jacket and it's picking up parts of the body that I don't want it to, I will create a second version of the body. So for example, here, and I would just I would literally remove anything that I don't want to influence the jacket. And then I would transfer the weights. That may help. Duplicate the silver edging that I misspelled. And we're going to grab this one too. And what we'll do is we'll take our comparison and move it over here. So that way I can adjust it per object. That looks fucking awesome. Oh, ooh. Ooh. Some good stuff there. Also, I can't feel my toes now. Oh, yeah, something like this would be really good. Another little badge. We'll add a plane. Give it a subdivision, but a simple subdiv. Then we'll add a subdivision. Sorry, shrink wrap. That's what I meant to say. And then, of course, a solidify. Didn't know if I was doing it wrong because I would mesh data transfer my thigh straps and they would barely move the leg like they barely had any influence. Oh, gotcha. If that's the case, you want to make sure everything's zeroed out. So or at the very least, the objects you're transferring between should have the exact same location, rotation, and scale values. Because I believe when the mesh data transfers, it puts them into as a normalized position. So basically, it makes so it moves them without telling you. So that's if they're barely moving, that's most likely why. It'd be fun to do this little decal I see right here. Not quite sure how I'm going to do that, but I'm excited for it. And then there's these little straps right here. I do need to figure out how to shrink wrap a. Yeah, I just need to make my own shrink wrap modifier. Shouldn't be too bad. He said, said Sam Dutter. Um, shouldn't be too bad. Um, I'll do that tomorrow. Oh, excuse me. Wow, sorry. My goodness. That took me by surprise. Now, for these other sections here, we can see that these have this stitching, this paneling here. I'm assuming in Marvelous Designer they actually do have these panels made, which is just insane. But we don't really want to do that. What we'd like to do is just imply it. Already on. These got some wrinkles there too. Oh, and then we have these straps on the bottom. And this weird hard surface panel on the back. Let's make that panel. That'll be an easy thing to do before the day's over. And it is almost over. Again, I will be heading out in just about 10 minutes now. A little less than 10 minutes. They don't seem to be moving with the body at all now. And for both objects, they're zeroed out. And this is what I mean by zeroed out right here. 0 for location, 0 rotation, 1 scale. Interesting. Moving at all. I'm just trying to think about that. Not 100% sure what would be going on there. Send screenshots if you wouldn't mind. I know you're just about to head off though. I'll take a look, and that'll probably be the end of it for today. Yeah, let me take a quick look. Oh, what am I doing? I think this is what's on the collar. I actually have no idea. Got some sort of weird little paneling thing here. There's also something right in the middle of the back there. Just gonna pull over the Discord. And those should weight pretty well. Try setting this to world, the source. Instead of local, set it to world. You can also try ray casting instead. Yeah, I would test with the search method and then the source. Because right now it's set to local. As long as everything is set up properly, it should work, but those are my best guesses for right now. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start taking some screenshots of the work from today, and then I will be ending the stream. Could do that, but I think it will be too much. Oh, you've done something very wrong here because both of those had the same result. I'm not sure. It's hard for me to say. I won't be able to take a much deeper look at the moment. Perhaps try the robust weight transfer. But if that's still not working, feel free to send me the file and I'll take a look probably tomorrow morning or something. It's looking good. He's looking good. They're looking awesome. Thank you, Namers. Thank you. Get some close-ups of the shoe because they do look really good. Big respect for making clothing. That's good. Thank you. Thank you. I like it a bit more now than I did in the past. All right, y'all. I got a blast. Thank you all for hanging out with me today. It's been a good afternoon, and thank you everyone for the follows, subscribes, and shout out to Toffee as well for the donations today. Super appreciate that. And I will be streaming the rest of the week, so I'll be back Thursday, be back Friday. Again, if anyone knows anyone that is interested in learning how to make avatars, please send them my way. I would love to get some more students in the classes before we start next week. See you tomorrow. Absolutely, Namers. We'll see you then. Stardom, have a good one as well. Everyone else that's lurking out there. Risa, see you later. Everyone else that's lurking out there. We'll catch you next time. But enjoy your day. Love staying here. See you, Sam. Thank you, Arisa. I appreciate that. And yeah, see you tomorrow, everyone. Another day of Avatar work. Heck yeah. See you then. Bye, everyone. Bye. Bye.